David Jacobs.
David Jacobs coming round again. Thank you, David. With the drinks trolley. What's our first drink of the week?
Well, I'm going to go with an IPA, a session IPA today, and mainly because I like the name of it. It's called Laser Juice. Look at Matt's eyes.
I don't like the sound of that.
I can't be the only one.
It's really tasty. It's from a Bristol brewery. Laser Juice, 4.2%. It's gluten-free and vegan as well. So, ticks all those boxes.
Right. I think just a half on a Monday, because Mondays feel wrong.
Yeah, just a half.
Okay, all right. Anyway, thanks for that.
Welcome.
Matt's going to love it, of course. So today's confession comes from Nobby. Nobby, thank you very much indeed. I mean, I do... Names are changed, don't they?
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, go on.
Hi, Simon and team. In the late 70s, I joined the local fire brigade as a young fireman. Just to note, we were all firemen back in those days. Firefighters we became, but firemen is what we were. I was working on Blue Watch at the fire station in our local town. The firemen had a whole repertoire of practical jokes that they used to play on each other. Most usually, not surprisingly, all involved soaking each other with water.
Of course. Well, what else are you going to do?
What could be going on there?
Nobby says, when you had as many hoses as we had, it was a gift, really. I'm sure you could...
Right.
It's just a...
okay.
It's just a fire reference. I'm sure you'd all be the same, he says. If a hose of jet-propelled water was part of your work setup, you'd be tempted as well. There must have been people over the years, Father Simon, that you would have liked to have hosed down. Well, let me think about that.
Here comes the list.
Yes. That would have been a power hose. Take that. In one series of running practical jokes, the ultimate trap was set as payback. My mate and I filled I have to say,
don't try this at home.
Don't try
obviously don't try it at home. It's not vastly original either, Nobby, but anyway. My mate and I filled a dustbin full of cold water and we hauled it to the 3rd floor of the fire station. We had closed the rear fire appliance doors, so when the returning fire engine had come back from a call, the fireman who was our target, Smooth Sid, would have to get out of the fire engine to open the doors to allow the driver to drive the engine into the station. And this was right underneath our dustbin. So we lined up our dustbin and we waited patiently for Smooth Sid and his team to come back. The trap was set. Suddenly, and without warning, a uniformed policeman appeared in the station yard. He could have chosen 10 other open doors to enter the building, but for some reason, maybe guided by a higher mischievous force, he started to walk to our strategically closed door to enter the station. We recognised him as well, but we're going to call him Constable Knapweed for the purposes of this confession. Dick and I looked at each... Oh, Dick's the guy. Oh, Dick's his mate. Okay. Yeah. Dick and I looked... So it's Nobby and Dick. Okay.
We changed that already, haven't we?
Almost certainly.
Goodness me. The greatest hits lawyers on.
Anyway, we looked at each other and without a word realised that this was an opportunity we could not refuse. We had grown up on the Beano, Father Simon. We knew what our sacred duty was. It is what Roger the Dodger would have done.
Oh, yeah.
And so, therefore, okay with us. But as an excuse in a court of law, that doesn't really work. And so, with due ceremony, the dustbin was upturned and 40 gallons of ice-cold water hurtled 50 feet right on top of Officer Knapweed. His helmet fell off with the force of the water. You could hear his screaming and cursing as he was soaked through to his, what I can only imagine, were his police-issue underpants. Do the police give you underwear?
That's a good question.
Yes, they do.
Do they?
They do,
How
yes.
do you know that?
Multicoloured underwear and blue underwear because of the blue line.
The thin blue line.
The thin blue line, correct.
Right. Okay. Yes. A lot of inside knowledge.
Yes.
No.
Anyway, Knapweed picked himself up and exited the station yard, shaking his fist theatrically at whoever had subjected him to this humiliation. He returned to the police station to make a formal complaint to his sergeant.
Yeah.
Not surprisingly, this complaint was laughed at by all his mates at the police station and was never followed up. We heard later He had only come into the fire station to warn the firemen that a traffic warden was on his way to advise the watch to remove their cars illegally parked on double yellow lines at the rear of the station, something he certainly never did ever again. My mate and I would often see Officer Knapweed over the following years at assorted incidents. We never dared introduce ourselves as his dustbin assassins. The quiet satisfaction of knowing what we had done and what we had got away with was reward enough. But that was then, and I realise now that the thin blue line needs to be cherished and not ridiculed, and that pranks like this only bring the emergency services into disrepute, and pranks are juvenile and never justified. And on reflection, I didn't really deserve to be forgiven at all, so I'll just turn myself in, says Nobby, who sounds as though he might have had a change of heart there towards the end of the... Oh,
yes, that was smooth. Goodness me.
That was a handbrake turn.
Billy Boxing loves that.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks very much. So it sounds like Nobby realises the error of his ways.
Yes.
Sister Susan. So does that give him any credit?
No, I don't think so. Don't think so, Nobby. It's just, I hate practical jokes anyway. And really cold water dumped on anybody is
gallons.
Not fun. That must be, a shiver went down my spine. It's horrible. That would have been absolutely rubbish.
I think that's probably quite dangerous as well.
Yeah, it's just not very nice. Doesn't wash with me, Nobby. So,
wash. Very good. Like that. Yeah.
See what I did there? So I don't forgive you.
Are you going to start doing puns as well?
Maybe.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness me.
Welcome to the church.
Brother from another gutter.
I'm going to forgive. And here's the reason why. What was Officer Knapweed doing?
Knapweed.
Knapweed.
Officer Knapweed was a character in The Herbs.
In The Herbs?
Much loved children TV show. I did a video about that.
Oh,
once.
really?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So Officer Knapweed. What was he doing just wandering into the fire station? I'm pretty sure I'm not a lawyer, but I'm going to say you're not allowed to just wander in.
He was warning them because their cars were parked illegally.
It was very easy to do that by just knocking at the door. And if he had knocked at the door, then maybe he wouldn't have been covered in icy water. So for that reason, Officer Knapweed, Knapweed.
No, it's a P.
Knapweed.
There we go.
Unbelievable. I choose to forgive.